So you want a build that can hold its own solo and be good in a group for PvE and PvP while leveling up. I got you, I understand. When you pair the Great Axe and the Hatchet together, it's simple, but very effective. If you played any of the betas, you saw this a lot. The Great Axe is going to be a staple weapon in a lot of builds, and if you're planning on running double melee without a Great Axe, you're going to be lacking in mobility and the CC department. And the Hatchet is picked here for healing, a little extra mobility, and just to make PvE as easy as possible. Today I want to go over the two weapons, talk about two different builds based off of your Great Axe's weapon level, stat distribution, and round it out with some playstyle tips. Let's get into the Great Axe. Sporting great light attacks that track, hard-hitting abilities, great passes that work in PvP and PvE, cleaving attacks for great AoE potential, mobility, it has everything you would want in a melee weapon. This build will focus on using the Great Axe more than the Hatchet. But the Great Axe is still good, but most of its uses are packed into Berserk healing you and making you run faster and being a PvE single target monster. Both builds will have a link in the description, and don't worry, I got some gameplay after I explain the build. Also, if you enjoy the content, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Let's get back into it. Build 1 is for weapon levels 1 to 14. The goal of this build is to rush Bloodlust while being as consistent as possible while doing it. Bloodlust makes you move 30% faster and deal 15% more damage while looking at a foe within 15 meters. This even works on animals while traveling. This turns a good weapon into a great weapon. The three abilities you will be using is Reap for the full, Charge for mobility and a light attack animation cancel, and Execute to delete any target unlucky enough to stay within your grasp for the animation. You take the Reap passes to give it a longer range, a heal, and a spin attack. General passes are for healing and more consistent damage. Execute's first passive gives it grit, so at least a long animation is now unstoppable. The last 2 points can go anywhere, but these are the ones that I like the most. These aren't super impactful though. After weapon level 15, we now have enough points for Gravity Well. Gravity Well is a throwable death sentence. You throw an axe, it creates a vortex and pulls people in. So for build 2, you drop 4 points from the Reaper tree and you put them in the Mauler. And after that, you can finish the build out. Everything in the Mauler tree is to make you harder to get away from in PvP. You lose a little finishing power, but the viability in PvP after this point skyrockets. The first 16 points are the most important. 17, 18, and 19 are flexible, but the ones I picked are very consistent. Now the Hatchet build is really straightforward. What you're trying to do is put out as much mindless damage as quickly as possible while popping Berserk for healing and speed. The general passes buff you while you're spamming light attacks. Accumulated power will buff the abilities. The rotation becomes light attacking for the damage buff, then using an ability. The ultimate passive is Defy Death. It gives you the ability to avoid death for 3 seconds if you are reduced to 50 HP. Basically, you were on autopilot so long, you forgot to die. And that's the build. Now let's get into stats and armor. While leveling, Constitution scales really well. It gives you 25 HP per point, but you also want to get at least 50 strength while focusing on Constitution. But you should also be aware of breakpoints. Every 50 stats, you get an extra passive. So be mindful if you have an extra 25 Constitution, because it can be more important to get a different breakpoint in a different stat. Meaning a 100-100 split is better than a 75-125. And because of this, I tend to reset my stats every few levels. For armor weight, you want to go medium. You deal 10% more damage, and it's the most armor you can have while keeping an okay dodge. It's the best of both worlds, but you're going to want to get as much armor as you can out of the medium weight. The best combination I've run across was heavy helmet, heavy chest, medium gloves, medium boots, and light legs. This left me with a 22.9 equipped weight. There's other options of armor combinations, of course, but the main thing to aim for is correctly statted armor that will leave you as close to 23 weight as possible without going over. And that's all you need to know for the build and the setup. Now the playstyle is straightforward, but there's things you need to be aware of while in the field. You don't necessarily need your abilities to kill people. The tracking combined with Bloodlust and the buff light attacks, any target within 15 meters of you is going to struggle to get away from you. Your win condition is just staying on target, being consistent, and not allowing them room to breathe. This will make a lot of players make mistakes. Whenever it's reasonable, if the enemy dodges, dodge after them, and then light attack, you'll chase them. Using Reap and Charge when you don't have the ability to reconnect easily will handle most situations. So Charge has the ability to cancel an attack animation for quick damage, so if you know they won't get away from you, you can use this. And Gravity Well is great to set up kills in solo and group PvP. Reap gets increased range, a heal, and a spin attack attached to it, adding to your already impressive cleave. All of this together creates a great build that is competitive, fun, and easy to use in PvP and PvE. You have other weapon options if you don't want the Hatchet, like a Warhammer or a Sword and Shield. You could easily run this for a smooth leveling experience till around the 30 to 40 range and swap to another build. I ran this until I decided to switch to a Great Axe Ice Gauntlet build, so do me a favor, tell me what you guys think in the comments, like and subscribe. I go live on Twitch 3 days a week. Link is down below. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.